Good evening, everyone. Welcome. So, my name is Vikrant, and I'm working as the Chief Technology Officer at Space. So, once again, very good evening, good afternoon, good morning to all of you from wherever you are joining. Thank you for joining this webinar. My name is Vikrant, and I'm working as Chief Technology Officer at Space India. I also look at the product development. And so I'm so excited about the topic today, Gaganyaan, and so excited to meet all of you. With me, I will also be able to see all your chats on a phone, which I have on my left side. So if you see me going towards the left, that means I'm checking my chat. All right, excellent. So thank you all for joining. And today's topic is Gaganyaan. And Space India was founded in 2003. And with a mission to spread scientific temper, we have been teaching astronomy and space sciences to schools and students all across India and now even the world. So it is my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of Space. And so today's topic, you can see, is Gaganyaan, taking an Indian crew off the planet. By the way, I also want to thank all the people at Space who are working behind the scenes, who worked behind the scenes to make this webinar possible. So thank you to all of the team. And without further ado, I would like to begin. And I would like to tell you that please stay till the end, because in the end, we will also be sharing some exciting programs of Space which you can join. So to start, Gaganyaan, taking an Indian crew off the planet. So we all have a dream of going to space. We have all been inspired by Kalpana Chawla, who became the first Indian to go to space, born in India. And so India, in the beginning of this year, the Indian Space Research Organization announced the plans to launch two uncrewed missions of Gaganyaan. That means, this was announced that there'll be two uncrewed, means non-human crew this year as a precursor or a test missions for an actual flight in which one Vyomnaut or the Indian astronaut will travel to space around the orbit of Earth. So what does off the planet means? So off the planet here means taking, off the planet means we are right, gravity is, we want to escape the gravity. Carl Sagan, very famous astronomer, said that we are, when we stand on the shore of an ocean, it's like we are standing and the ocean invites. We want to look, we want to know what's on that side. We want to venture deep into the ocean. Similarly, human beings have been born of stars and want to go to the stars. So we want to leave the cradle on which we are born. So this is the endeavor of Gaganyaan, to take an Indian off the planet. And also the aim is to get that crew safely back on the planet. So we are not going to say, okay, bye. We have to recover. We have to get the crew back safely on the Earth. This is the exciting time going on with so many developments by ISRO happening this year. One of the photographs particularly I want to show you in this particular slide is the photograph which you see in middle. It's not an actual person. That lady is a Vyom Mitra. Vyom means space, Mitra means friend. So this is robot, human being like robot, which will in the beginning it is planned that in the test flights, this robot will go, which will help these astronauts. So by the way, in the first two flights, when Vyom Mitra will go, there will be no astronauts. So the recent update. So when ISRO announced that there will be a mission Gaganyaan, like in 2023, we will launch a crewed version. That means actually a human being on board. We decided to, okay, let's do it. Let's do a webinar for all of you on this topic. However, ISRO soon announced that there might be further delays due to the pandemic situation, and it seems like maybe a further delay is expected. But never mind, all good things. Uh, we have to wait and we have to be patient. So for good things to happen. So I'm sure we will hear soon. But what's important is we are having this webinar today. So, so what is the mission Gaganyaan and what are the aims? Gaganyaan means spacecraft. Gaganyaan in Sanskrit means spacecraft. And the purpose is not really, the most important purpose is not really to do a lot of science there. Of course, we will do science in the Gaganyaan mission. However, more important for India at this point of time is to demonstrate the capability to actually send an Indian onboard rocket made by India, indigenously made by our own capability. So it's a demonstration mission of human spaceflight based on India's own capability. We have to, like, the aim is to send a human being to space in the maiden mission. Maiden mission means first mission, and get him or her safely back. Well, we can't say him, or I can't say it's a manned mission because I'm using the word crewed mission, which means a crew, which means a human being. It's not necessarily a man or a female. So, and the second objective is that this mission's Gaganyaan will lay the foundation of a sustained Indian human space exploration program, which means eventually India will have its own space station. And let me start with a story about, this is a story about Vikram Sarabhai, and actually it's a story about one of the directors, chairman of ISRO, Madhavan Nair. And in 2007, he was the chairman of ISRO, leading ISRO. And so when he was asked, what happened that year, is that India launched Spacecraft Recovery Experiment, SRE-1. It was a precursor mission, means a first mission to prepare for actually human space flight. So it was the very first. The story of Gaganyaan in reality actually started in 2007 with that actual step India took to actually have a capsule enter the atmosphere. First, we launched the capsule in space and we deorbited it from space to make it land in Bay of Bengal and recover it. The reason was that, of course, when we send someone, we don't want to leave there. Okay, bye astronauts. We have sent you in space. Now you manage. No, we have to get them safely back. That's the deal. So it's not most important is the human crew. Space is a dangerous place. Earth is the only home. So we have to get them back. So this was the mission. India started on the right foot. I guess with this mission, this just occurred to me while talking to you. So there was a journalist who asked, actually this journalist was also a space enthusiast. So he asked the chairman, Dr. Madhavan Nair, that, Vikram Sarabhai, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, who was the founding forefather of the Indian space program, he had envisioned that India's goal for exploration of space should be the benefit of mankind and societal and economic benefits. So he asked, and he put it very nicely. He said, the question was very nicely framed. He asked that, he nicely asked that, is India, basically he asked, why is India doing this? And he, what I mean to say is he asked it a very nice way. And then Professor Madhavan Nair explained that actually India's all the goals have been met. The Dr. Vikram Sarabhai had stated, in India, the immediate goals of our space research are modest. We do not expect to send a man to the moon or put elephants, white, pink, or black, into orbit around the Earth. So the question was very valid. So Madhavan Nair explained that actually now India has fulfilled all the requirements, all the visions set by the Vikram Sarabhai, and now we are in the phase 2 of this vision, because he said, like, our immediate goals of space research. So immediate goals were met by India, and now India's had time to, the time was right to expand and be the number 1 in space exploration. So in a very nice way, Dr. Madhavan Nair explained him the answer and said that this is the vision of Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, but now it is the phase 2 of his vision, where he envisioned India should continue to explore space and be the best and learn science. So, and then in so that mission, so I'll talk about later about that mission, but what happened is in 2006, several scientists met in ISRO, about 80 of them, and they decided in 2006, they unanimously voted that India needs to have a manned space program and the time is right, and continued till 2018, where this mission was given a formal agreement and formal money to go ahead. So till these time, the scientists continued to persevere, and eventually the game changed when Prime Minister Modi announced in 2018 at 15th August at Lal Killa that India will send a son or a daughter to space carrying a national flag, and we will do it even try to do it before the 75th year of the day we celebrate the 75th anniversary of Indian independence. So we are currently celebrating the 75th year of Indian independence, and it will be completing on August 15th. Well, whether we will be able to launch Gaganyaan or not, it seems difficult, but like no one is pushing ISRO scientists. He never said like we will push ISRO scientists, because they need to work on the safety. So there is no pressure on them. So this mission will likely happen a little later. Here we come to Rakesh Sharma. We have how many Indians in space till now who have gone to space? We have Rakesh Sharma, Kalpana Chawla, Sunita Williams, and Sirisha Bandla. There are 4 Indians total who have been to space. Rakesh Sharma went with the help of Soviet Union, that means Russia. Kalpana Chawla inspired a dream in all of us to reach for the stars. And the saddest part about space exploration was when Kalpana Chawla's space shuttle did not make it back, and we lost Kalpana Chawla to the stars. She said that I am not a citizen of one country, so she lives among the stars. And then we have Sunita Williams and Sirisha Bandla. We all know Sunita Williams, who inspired us, and she said to space students, she particularly said, space is your future, get involved. And Sirisha Bandla is another Indian girl, so 3 females. And so many congratulations to all the females, and congratulations to all of you actually on, this is the 75th year anniversary of the Azadi Ka Mahotsav, or the India gained independence. So Sirisha Bandla went with Virgin Galactic as a part of their crew in a test flight. And do you know how many more Indians are now in preparation? Let's see. There are 6 more Indians, out of which I am showing you a photo of only 2. 6 out of the 6 more Indians who are in preparation to go to space. 4 are ISRO Vyomnauts who just underwent training in Russia, and they have come back and started part 2 of their training has started. What about the rest of the 2? Santosh George Kulangra, he has already paid 1.8 crore rupees to go to space as a tourist. So he will technically not be an astronaut, but a space tourist, that means someone who is going to pay money to go to space, and his seat is reserved in a Virgin Galactic flight, which will take, this is the guy in the right in the middle, in the Virgin Galactic flight, which will be taking him to orbital altitude, because like, sorry, 100-kilometer altitude and above, because that's where technically we define space to begin. And could an Indian be on the moon? So yes, maybe we will see an Indian on the moon. Raja Chari, the astronaut you see on the right, is a guy who is part of American. He's an American test pilot. He is an Indo-American. So he is an Indian origin American, and he is selected as part of he's on the list of candidates who will be going as part of NASA mission to moon in Artemis mission. So maybe let's hope we see Raja Chari as part of someone who is going to moon from India. That will be exciting. So now, like, just to clarify, different countries have sent people to space. Till now, only 3 countries have sent. First country, USSR. Second country, USA. Third country is China. And the fourth country to send a human being to space, hopefully, will be India. If we send a man to space in a Gaganyaan, so we will be the fourth country to do that. And Russian people who go to space, as you know, are called cosmonauts. American call them astronauts. Chinese call them taikonauts. We call them vyomnauts, means a space traveler in Sanskrit. So all the game is set. ISRO is working very hard. But let's understand, today in this webinar, we will understand what are the different challenges of Gaganyaan mission. So these challenges directly relate as challenges of anyone going to space. So space is difficult. And the most saddest times we have seen is when we lost people in space. We lost people in Challenger space shuttle. We lost people in Columbia disaster. Russians also lost some men. And there was one flight where Apollo crew 1 on a launch pad. We didn't lose them in space. We launched them on like ground. Space is a very, very, very risky business, as it is already known to all astronauts. So this endeavor is one of the most challenging endeavors to do. And total of so there was sad time when we lost a person in Virgin Galactic test flight. We lost a pilot there. So this is one of the most difficult endeavor currently. So why so challenging? We will see on the left, and what we are going to do to make it possible. We can see space environment is very risky. You are away from Earth. The most beautiful view you will get is you will see the Earth as a round. You will see our blue planet. That's the beautiful view you will see. You will get to experience space if you go to space in a space capsule. So it's like you are very comfortable in your home. So how do we go to space? Space is very dangerous because there is radiation coming from sun and radiation coming from galaxy, which is dangerous. Astronauts have to be protected from that. We have microgravity environment for which we have not adapted fully from on the Earth. Then space is completely vacuum, harsh vacuum. Re-entry, when you enter Earth from space, so spacecraft travels at a very fast speed, and basically that generates a lot of heat. Micrometeorites, there are micrometeorites in space, and you are alone in space. One more important thing is, okay, this slide is very blank, I know. So please excuse me for a very blank slide, not a very colorful one, this one. So in space, you will be alone. No one can come and help you. The astronaut in a spacecraft capsule have to take all the decisions and get everything perfectly. So, and like the fresh food has to be carried. So the person is on their own. So these are the challenges. So to deal with these challenges, ISRO has a proper planning. And now ISRO for Human Space Flight Center, because to get human beings to space is altogether a different game. So ISRO is starting a Human Space Flight Center. This is the inauguration photo. Here we see in the middle, Dr. Kasturi Rangan, former ISRO chairman, inaugurate by cutting a ribbon. On his right, as we see it, K. Sivain, who was the former chairman of ISRO, just the last one. On his left, right here is Dr. Radhakrishnan, another chairman of ISRO, and here is a person who is Dr. Unni Krishnan, who is going to be the head, who is the founding head of this institute, Human Space Flight Center. It's in Bangalore. So its goal is to plan all human space missions for ISRO, complete end-to-end from launch to landing and recovery and habilitation of the astronauts. Then it will take care of the crew selection and training, development of all the systems, like all the engineering systems which need to be developed, all the spacecraft parts it will develop, and it will perform activities so that human beings from India also continue to be in space. So why do we go to space? Why is India going? Just a moment. So yeah. All right. So one more thing is, it will inspire a generation. All of the directors of ISRO know that it's a game changing. It's a challenge which ISRO is taking, which will, because a challenge always inspire one to do his best. So this is a challenge given to ISRO, and ISRO is performing. So it will also generate a lot of international cooperation. A lot of young students will be inspired. Maybe one of you will go to space. You know, it will generate 15,000 jobs. So when you grow up, there will be more job opportunities for you to take part and be a part of ISRO as an engineer or whatever you want to be like, whatever you want to do. So this is the Human Space Flight Center, quite exciting development. Right here is Dr. Unni Krishnan Nair, founding director of Human Space Flight Center. Very cool guy. He was the person behind Spacecraft Recovery Experiment 1 in 2007. So he is the right guy. He was involved since the beginning. And Shri R. Hutton, who is the project director of Gaganyaan. And, you know, I saw one of the presentation slides. Hey, very cool guy, I'm sure. He looks very young and passionate by his look. So what is the Gaganyaan timeline? Where do we stand? Where are we going? So let's look at this slide. So it will, in a summary, it's giving you where we are with respect to ISRO's timelines. So you can see on the timeline, we have divided this timeline into different 5-year segment from 2005 to 10, 10 to 15, 2015 to 20, 2020 to 25. So you can see various things which have happened, which will happen. So initially the Azadi Ka Mahotsav, or these, like the important milestone was August 15th, 2022. However, that will that definitely is not possible. Even first uncrewed flight, which was earlier planned. Okay, by the way, I've got these dates wrong. Can you see Jan 2023, Jan 2023? These dates are just because I copied it. So it's, please excuse me. These dates are not known. Maybe it will, earlier it was in the 4th quarter of this year. And now it may be 2023, but we don't know when. And so the green milestone is the Chandrayaan crewed mission, the main milestone. Red are the crew training and selection, very important part. And on the blue are the various tests missions. So testing before. So you can see in 2000, and some black part are some other important milestones, which are maybe political or some announcements or financial. So 2007, we did spacecraft recovery experiment successfully. 2014, there was a CARE mission, again to demonstrate more deeply about re-entry of a spacecraft, means a spacecraft entering the atmosphere of the Earth. And then we, on July 2018, we did something called as the pad abort test. We will get to know. And in August 28, the announcement was done by the Prime Minister that in 2022 we will have 70. We will have a man or like a son or a daughter. Very good that he didn't use the word manned mission. And then the budget, ISRO received 10,000 crore to do this work. This funding will be spread over several years. And in 2019, the first crew has already been identified. So the first crew of 10 members was selected as candidates. And in January, that happened. And that was also the time when Human Spaceflight Center was opened. And 2020 to 2021, general training of astronauts, 4 people from that happened in Russia. And in 2021, after they came back, so yeah, so mission specific training, sorry, I think this has to be 2020. Yeah, so I'm a little confused. Please bear with me because I think this happened. They have just returned from Russia recently. So the crew training, this should be 21 to 22, and in March the next phase of the training in 2022 this year has begun in in India. So this part was 2021 to 2022. This is 2022. So I got this wrong right here. And then India did some experiments to make the rocket safe. This experiment and this experiment just recently completed makes the rocket much more safer. And this is the photographs from the spacecraft recovery experiment 1. Here is the Indian Coast Guard recovering the capsule. Okay, I've got a question which I am answering right now. The question is, who is Dr. Radhakrishnan? Dr. Radhakrishnan is also a former chairman of ISRO. Brilliant people, all of them brilliant people, like they have set a role model for us. And I think all astronauts are also role models. So that is why we are all excited to see not just an astronaut of a different country, but Indian astronaut travel on an Indian spacecraft. Then I have what is microgravity? Ratan is asking. So microgravity means very, very little gravity, where actually the gravity is nearly nil and you will be just weightlessness. You will experience kind of weightlessness and floating. It is not created by going far away from Earth. It is created by like different means on Earth, as one of them is I would explain you today. So micro means very tiny amount of gravity. So it's like almost nil gravity. So here the capsule is floating. And the purpose of this experiment, as I explained, so this is 500 grams, 500 kilograms. And once, so it's about this big. It's about this big. And it has these tiles. This is solar panels. This is floating. When it comes, so it shouldn't sink. So there is floaters. And right, there are tiles which prevent it from getting burnt up in the Earth's atmosphere. So maybe something we'll discuss why we are talking about burning. So like we wanted to recover something from space. Okay, we've put many satellites. Satellites go in orbit, but they stay in orbit unless they on their own fall back. However, we have never deorbited something to make it fall back consciously before this. And that's an essential thing to do for humans. We have to not just make them reach in Earth's orbit, but make them come back in a controlled way at a precise point. So when this comes back, and then you have to recover it. So this is a practice and training and testing in actually recovering something which we sent to space. And actually we got it back. How cool. And then recovered it. These are tiles which protect. So this is essential for Gaganyaan crew capsule. Then we did second experiment called CARE, as in the timeline I've shared. Here we did it in 2014. I think it was in July, but never mind. Like this time what we did, like, okay, this is a flat base, okay? It's very blunt. Like if you look here, this is pointed end, this is blunt end. So this time we wanted, so when this entered, it did not enter this side down. It entered this side down like a shuttlecock. But this we wanted to come back in a different kind of way. We wanted this side to have a heat shield, because that's how actual Gaganyaan mission is going to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere. So it had to come back. So we had to test, what if we put a blunt side first and make it come back that blunt, like, okay, like if you have a cupcake, one side is smaller, one side is bigger. So the bigger side has to face down. So this we demonstrated again successfully. So the CARE module, you can see the Indian Coast Guard is helping recover this module. And this is where the parachutes were stored. Parachutes opened. You can, like, I don't know whether this is, no, this is not a parachute cord, 100%. Parachute were stored in this area and they helped it descend. So parachute opening, right size of the parachute is very important. Like when you get something back from space, we are going to land in ocean, as you can see, you know this now. So we have to also open up parachutes for that to slow down, because something in space is traveling very fast. And we have to slow it down by different means. One of the means is parachutes. So testing the complete parachute opening procedure was done in this mission. This is the capsule as it was displayed in Bangalore Space Expo 2018. And maybe you can go to the expo once next time it happens. So because we get to know about so many things which ISRO is doing. Bangalore conducts a space expo. Many ISRO things are showcased there. So that's the way to get to know what ISRO is really doing. And so here we have Gaganyaan crew module. Now the most important, most important component is the humans. How do we keep humans safe in space? For this, India is building a human-rated crew module, which means a crew module like a room for the astronaut, a home of the astronaut, like you are in a room. So the size of this, like what is a crew module? Okay, you can see each country which has sent a spacecraft to space, and I mentioned USSR, USA, and China. So India is the fourth country to do that. I mean, we have not done it. We are preparing, and hopefully we will do it definitely. So Apollo orbiter module, right here, you can see this is the part where astronauts will stay when they went to the moon. This is US. Long back, this was the crew module for this conical part, and this is a service module. Like, don't get caught up by the jargon, we will understand. This is Russian crew module, like this is called Soyuz. This is where the astronauts live when they are climbing up. This is an additional room, so it's like a 2 rooms. This is 1 room, this is 2 rooms. This is now one of the latest ones by US SpaceX Dragon. It's quite large, it's one of the largest ones. The diameter for this one is 4.5, so it's quite open. And in the beginning, the crew modules which would sustain the astronauts in space, keep them safely, used to carry only 1 person, but Gaganyaan spacecraft module can carry 3 people. Even these can carry more than like 1. This is 3 people or more. I don't remember exactly. I think 3 or more. I don't really remember. This is 3. It can carry. Soyuz from Russia can carry 3. By the way, Soyuz is one of the safest known orbiter modules. So you can see I'm changing the word. I used crew module and then something said orbiter module. Orbiter module means a combination of the crew module on top and service module on the bottom. So both these things, crew module and service module, crew module and service module. These are other countries. This is India. We are on design board right now, and it's getting built. And we have a mock-up of it. Like, let me explain it a bit later. The diameter of this is 3.5 meters. So imagine your room. Yesterday I saw, and it is as tall. The whole thing right here to here is 2 stories tall. And this is about more than 1 story tall. So it's quite spacious as compared to Soyuz, but it's less spacious as compared to SpaceX Dragon. What does this part do? This is where astronauts live. This is a hatch or a door from which they will enter. These are the windows from where they can see outside. This is the service module. You can see some engines which will keep which are there to steer in the orbit. So it can help astronauts move once they are in orbit. If they want to change their orbit, they want to come back to the Earth, they can fire the rockets right here. So this will help them maneuver in space. And let me see if there are any questions. Let me just check the chat also. Okay. We celebrate Teachers' Day. Okay. Okay. So, no. This is ISRO's Dr. Radhakrishnan is not the same as the Radhakrishnan for whom we celebrate, in whose memory we celebrate the Teachers' Day. So, all, but anyway, a legendary people, all we have heard about them, Dr. Radhakrishnan. So that was a question which I was just addressing from the chat. So as you can see, it can keep 3 astronauts alive in space for 7 days. And this is the habitat. It will protect them. So we talked about the challenges of space. It has got 2 walls. So it will protect the astronauts. It is connected to the service module using this. So all the electricity, service module will generate the energy using solar panels. Right now, you can't see solar panels like these. Service modules will generate solar electricity energy using solar energy, electricity using solar energy, and it will give that energy to inside using these links called umbilical. And it has these surface covered with radiators. So all the heat, because it will be very cold or very hot, so all the heat from here can be managed using the radiators here. So there are pipes which transfer the heat from this part to this part, and this part can radiate the heat. And this also contains oxygen and nitrogen tank, contains the fuel tanks for orbital propulsion, and this contains the toilet, the seats for the astronaut, the food and the water for the astronaut. This is kept at a comfortable temperature. So inside it's like not air conditioned, I don't think. It's like a normal room temperature, comfortable humidity. They won't smell musty. Fresh air, it would feel like air is fresh inside, even though it's like very cramped inside. And they will be protected from small debris in space using double walls of this all the. So to give you more example of what is a crew module from inside, this is what a different crew module looks from inside. This is a very big and spacious crew module by of a New Shepard rocket by Blue Origin. You can see these are space tourists, so you don't see a lot of technical stuff here. This was all automated, no buttons, large windows, but like these were paying tourists. That is why this was so luxury. However, this is a Russia's space capsule, very cramped, but it works. It's one of the safest. This is a hatch. Once in my lifetime, when I was a little kid, I have had an opportunity to climb over this hatch and go inside, crawl inside till the hatch. It was very musty. This capsule is in Nehru Planetarium, New Delhi, in which Rakesh Sharma had returned from space. So I've had that fortune of actually climbing in such. Okay, look at these astronauts, so cramped, just 3 meters in diameter. ISRO's one, as we see right here, is like this is 3.5 meter in diameter. So imagine a big room of more than 10 feet in diameter. That's the kind of space. So we don't know whether astronauts can do somersaults inside. No one knows really what it actually will look like, but ISRO has given some hint. Maybe it will look like this. ISRO in one of the presentation by an ISRO scientist, Dr. Unni Krishnan, the head of Spaceflight Center, Human Spaceflight Center. In that animation, this was shown. It looks like LCD panels and lots of buttons will be there. This is an astronaut legs. This is a seat of the astronaut. As we climb in from the hatch, we look down on the astronaut. Astronaut faces towards us. These are the legs, lots of buttons. It looks like no one knows whether this is a preliminary design or the final design. So it is anticipated that we will get to see it once it is final. But it looks like this is a medical kit and this is a waste dump. This is the piloting screens where we see Earth and the sky, lots of buttons. So very technical layout, naturally. So that is the reason we need a pilot astronaut. Why ISRO has selected as 4-member crew. They are all test pilots. So they are actually pilots of the Indian Air Force because they are already to some level comfortable, because in India we have never flown a spacecraft with a human being before. So when we do that, we will need someone to pilot. We will need someone to be very alert, just like very alert, physically fit, just like Indian Air Force pilots who are some of the best. So this is a technical diagram. There is one more technical diagram coming. These are astronauts, 3 seats are there. These are shock absorbers. When the spacecraft will hit the water at 8 meters per second, these are the shock absorbers which will absorb the impact and save the astronauts. And this is also guesswork. The interior is a guesswork. Somewhere here should be a toilet. I don't exactly know where. Lots of storage here. The green boxes look like storage material. Yellow looks like fire kits, fire extinguisher, etc. Pink boxes look like medical kits. And so lots of things. Somewhere here the astronaut food will be stored. This is a hatch. So the previous view you saw from the hatch, looking from here over the heads of the astronaut, over the legs of the astronaut towards these boxes. So you see these boxes, and the instrument panel would be right here in front of the astronauts. In future, this would be used as a docking port. Right now, we have this as a hatch. So if we connect this, like, let's talk about it later in future, what the ISRO's plan is. Here is a spacecraft. This is an astronaut suit. So we will need to carry everything. Like astronaut suit will also be there. This will be worn only during the ascent phase when it is going up and when it is going down. So these are the most critical phases, because that is where if anything can go wrong, is likely to go wrong. So that is where we need to have astronauts doubly protected in an environmental suit, which will supply them with oxygen for 1 hour and keep them protected. It's made up of multiple layers. This is being made in Russia. Here is a crew capsule. It has 10 points, like total volume. Means how big it is. I can't imagine like how much would be 10 cubic meters or 11 cubic meters. But like if you take out all the material, then astronauts will have 6 cubic meters. 1 cubic meter is 1 meter length into 1 meter length into 1 meter length. So something like this big is 1 cubic meter. So you can imagine, like if you take a big gym ball, that would be a little less than 1 cubic meter. So imagine you pack 6 big gym balls. That's the area they will have. So it's like less, like almost like a very cramped, like a car. You know, like a car, you travel in a car, it's like that big. So heat exchangers would exchange heat so that astronauts have a proper temperature. Water would be stored. Electricity will be generated. Fuel for orbital burning will be staying here. Oxygen for astronauts plus nitrogen, because pure oxygen would not be breathable. No, will be breathable, but it would be too risky and fire hazard. So astronauts will carry everything. This is their life support system, in technical terms, LSS. So air, water, food, temperature, humidity, saving from the environment, giving them some control, electricity, humidity, everything is there. Astronauts have to carry everything. Then another critical component is the GSLV Mark III rocket, also called as the Bahubali. This is the most powerful rocket by India, and this is the most powerful. And yes, so I have a question by Shalini Maurya. Yes, the Indian spacesuit as of now, the released by ISRO is orange in color, not white. And new spacesuits created by SpaceX? No. Neetu, very good question. Thank you. Wow. So no, we are not going to use any other spacesuit, but India will take help of building its own spacesuit with Russia. Russia has already taken careful measurements of the astronauts' size, bodily measurement. In technical terms, I learned that it's called anthropic, something like measurements, but it means that human beings have an anatomy. We have a hands of certain size, body. So every detail of human body for those astronaut seats and spacesuits have been taken by Russia. But you know, there is one sad thing going on in the world right now. I'm taking a detour, that the world is at war. Ukraine and Russia are at war. And that is a very big uncertainty in the Gaganyaan mission. So we don't know how much the timeline will be delayed, because some mission critical elements also depend on Russia. Like Russia is supposed to help us with life support system, and the training part is already done. So I don't have an idea about where we are with that, whether we will, but in like people think right now there is a, it will cause some delays, but we are uncertain about that. So Arsh Maurya, okay, Shalini, I got that. Okay, I have shown you, let me be very clear. These spacesuits, if you saw these white spacesuits, like someone has put in chat, these spacesuits are Russian, and these are Soyuz Russian astronauts. I'm sorry, I didn't clarify, I should have. So, they are Russian cosmonauts. This is a photo of not of Indian astronaut, because we couldn't, there are not a lot of photos released by ISRO about the training. So yeah, now coming to what is this space rocket, the very important technology being developed by ISRO is, as today we are also talking about what steps ISRO is taking to make this impossible feat possible, is to make the rocket safe. In the global terminology, it is called human-rated launch vehicle. On the left and on the right are the same launch vehicles or the rocket. This is current rocket India has, GSLV Mark III. It is Bahubali because it can lift the entire weight of big satellites to low Earth orbit, means 400 kilometers around Earth, about 10,000 kgs. And ISRO's spacecraft is going to weigh 8,000 kg. This is going to be carried to space. It will weigh 8,000. Just a moment. Again, a figure is wrong. Yes. So it is 6,40,000. Yeah. So the total weight of this rocket is 6,40,000 kgs, out of which about 8,000 kgs is the top part where the crew module, the orbiter module, that means the service module and the crew module will come. So this is current rocket. It has been modified. It is under process to make it safer. What is human rating? It means to get a certified the rocket safe enough. Because guys, what is happening? Actually, when you are sitting on top of a rocket, there are astronauts sitting right here in a tiny capsule, which is 1/12 the size of 1/12 the weight of the entire rocket. It's all fuel, highly explosive fuel is there in the rest of the rocket. So anything wrong happens, the rocket can explode. So first of all, we need to make sure in a human-rated launch vehicle to get the uncertainty or the risk very, very low. to an acceptable level. So we need to make sure a few things. First, we need to make sure that this rocket is telling you a lot of detail about its health to the astronauts. So the astronauts can constantly see what each and every part of the rocket is doing, what is its status. Second, it will also have much more safe rocket engines, and it will have a little less, so it will not go very fast, it will go slightly slow, because if it goes very fast, the astronauts will feel a lot of pressure on their chest called G forces. So it shouldn't do more than 3 times. So if I am 70 kgs, when it is going up, a person can feel 3 times their own weight. So imagine 70. So I would feel like a person of 210 kgs. If you don't make a rocket human rated, then the rocket can go much faster and he can feel much more weight. So second, like another requirement is that even if 2 systems, similar systems, fail, the rocket still should be able to perform. So everything has a backup to make sure that humans are safe at all times. Then in case some failure happens, it has, first is that failure chances are reduced in a human rated rocket, and second part is that in case something happens during launch, which is the risky part, the astronauts can be quickly aborted off the launch pad away from an exploding rocket. That is why you see a tower right here on the top. This is not just a design. This tower has a meaning. Rocket has several stages. These are solid rocket boosters, liquid rocket boosters, liquid rocket. This engine is called Vikas engine. This engine has to be safe, and ISRO has completed the test for this engine for its qualification, means it is passed. This engine also has undergone a qualification test and passed. So rocket will take this to space in several stages. Like, to give you an example of various countries with human rated, so humans can only travel in certain rockets, not any rocket. So Long March by China, Soyuz and Proton by Russia, GSLV Mark III, now under development and qualification and testing, also called the Human Rated Launch Vehicle, or HRLV. These are the currently operational. So these are currently operational on my left, 3. This is under development. This one by USA is Falcon 9, which is currently being used and operational. These 2 are undergoing testing and development by USA. This is also currently operational, and this is also currently operational spacecraft, human rated. So every country has their own requirement for human rating, and we have this is where to show you more detail about this human rated launch vehicle. This will fit right here. It's a blow up diagram. You can see these rockets. Can you see these rockets? This is called crew escape system. And in case this is just a cut open of a model, these are some fins. You can see some fins right here to give the rocket more stability. So what's going to happen? Let me just show you. Well, I had a video somewhere. All right, let me show you this test. ISRO has conducted this test. Let me share my audio. Share sound. Okay, you can see no human being is on board right now. There is a tower on top of this, and let me play. Oh, please excuse me. This is a rocket motor on 4 sides, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Minus 30 minutes.
So it's opened like shuttlecock, so that shuttlecocks, travel straight. So during pad abort test, if anything goes wrong and rocket explodes up till 50-kilometer altitudes, we will immediately use a separate rocket to quickly move very fast away from this exploding rocket, so the crew is safe. You can see these rocket motors have ignited and they have yet to ignite. So 2 sets of rocket motors will ignite. Again, okay, there we have quickly going away.
HEM's LEM pitch mode recognition confirmed, performance normal.
The parachute, drogue parachute opens first. Yeah, okay. Yeah, in this only, I guess, drogue parachutes are there. All right, no.
Main parachute
all right.
deployed.
Yeah, drogue parachute and the main parachute. Drogue parachutes are basically there when the rocket is descending very fast. So they slow it down speed. So you have those first set of parachutes. And then the second big set of parachutes, when the rocket has slowed down in its descent towards the Earth. Descent means coming down. Then these big parachutes open, through the help of which the capsule in which human beings would be sitting can come down. So this is the testing, again successfully done. Going back a few slides as I just went too speedily. I think some slides order is changed. All right. So please bear with me with that. So, all right. So here we have the Vikas engine test fire, the second stage of the rocket. This is the first stage which ignites. These two ignites first, and they take the rocket so fast that astronauts will experience 3 Gs of force. And by the way, those who want to become rocket scientists today, after this end, I will explain you a little bit of rocket science also about these engines. And so crew training happened by Institute of Aviation Medicine, because until now we don't have a space medicine institute in India. It will be started by the Human Spaceflight Center. Until now we only had aviation, which is the closest field to space exploration. So this is the photographs during selection of crew. Physically the fittest crew, alert, some people who can really gel along well, mentally and physically, psychologically also, because in case of anything, they are living alone in space for a few days. They have to be able to manage with each other. So all, like their height, their weight, whether they will be able to survive the G forces, everything. This is the 10 people who were initially selected, out of which, like, there is one Nikhil Rat also. I think this is the one. And so I don't know what is the status. Currently, only 4 were sent to Russia for training. Names were not disclosed. In Russia, they have completed a 15-month training and recently returned. And in Bangalore, now they have started a 3-semester course. That means, so the crew training is more than 2 years. These are astronauts, not Indian ones. This is just a representative photo in Russia, in Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center. In fact, space students at Space India, we had gone to Gagarin, like Star City, and we had gone to see some exciting things with about 70 people, including students. We went there. So this is a hyperbaric chamber. Astronauts have completed this training. In general space training, astronauts learned about space environment. They learned about basic survival. If what happens if they have to abort at high altitude and the pressure decreases. So they are already given training in low pressure, in this low oxygen, low pressure, because you will not even realize. So that is why they are trained. So winter survival training, if they land in a wooded area in cold place so like even in they've flown like centrifuge to understand how it feels. So they did centrifuge training, and Space India team actually saw that centrifuge when we went to Russia in 2006 with lots of students of ours. So we keep taking such expeditions. Mission specific training is now. That means first training is generic. Second training, 3 semester, Defense Research Department, Defense Research, DRDO is taking part, Indian Air Force is taking part, ISRO is taking part, and even Rakesh Sharma and Ravish Malhotra, who were the first two people trained by Russia from India, were also part of designing the curriculum for that training. So in this, they will simulate the mission. They will undergo the mission by not really going to space, but undergoing space capsule as a mock-up, as a and even in virtual reality, like Oculus, they will learn in virtual reality, and they will be trained in all the systems of the spacecraft, and so that they can, whatever situation comes, they can face it. So it will happen in Bangalore for 3 semesters. And this is the Human Spaceflight Center. This is a mock-up of the Gaganyaan crew. You remember, these are the people. So Unni Krishnan ji must be somewhere here. This is Dr. Unni Krishnan, K. Sivain, Kasturi Rangan, Radhakrishnan, Dr. And these are some photos from, this is not Indian crew, but I'll quickly try to wrap up now without going into further detail. This is water survival training photos, which generally happens in Russia. Russia has been doing it. These are not Gaganyaan astronauts. This is Mercury astronauts. They were trained in 0G. So Indian astronauts will also be trained in a similar way by taking an aeroplane in a parabolic path in which they will experience what is called as weightlessness of space. So on Earth, for long duration, if you have to create weightlessness environment, then you make an aeroplane go up and down. It's like a Ferris wheel. When you go up in a Ferris wheel, you suddenly feel a lot of weight. But as the Ferris wheel starts to go near the top, you start feeling this tingling thing and you start feeling weightless. That's exactly when the plane goes up halfway through its journey till here. It experiences strong G forces, but here the engine is cut off. Just like Ferris wheel, you start experiencing, as it is going up, you start feeling that weight has reduced. Something is happening in the stomach. So part of this training we have learned has happened in Russia, and maybe more training to come for them with the help of French. The spacesuit, once again, crew escape system you just saw for aborting anything which goes wrong on the pad. Some photos from that experiment for pad abort test we just saw. And this is the mission profile. As from the launch pad, the mission will be sent to 400-kilometer orbit above the Earth. The spacecraft will, only this part will be there in space. The entire rocket will break down in parts and intentionally made to jettison. Means we have to throw it away as soon as the fuel part is done. We will throw the rocket away so that extra weight is quickly released. We don't want it go. And as soon as it reaches orbit, the solar panel unfurls. This part will be there throughout its orbital journey right here. Until we decide to come back after 7 days, the spacecraft will turn like this. Rockets will fire, slow it down. It will re-enter, and at that moment, we will say goodbye to. So they are all connected, but it can be detached. So this will detach. It will undergo tremendous heating, but this will survive because there is a heat shield on the capsule. So the atmosphere, it will go to thousands of degrees Celsius temperature, but inside the astronauts will not feel any heat. And the parachutes will open, and it will descend to either Bay of Bengal as first choice is to land it in Arabian Sea as it is more calm. And the second choice as a backup is the Bay of Bengal. So what is G? G means, okay, I have a question by Ratna. Ratna, G means gravity. So right now you're all being pushed in your seat. Now imagine if I were to, when you travel in a metro or something moves very fast. So what happens? You get pushed back in your seat if you're traveling in a car. Similarly, when astronauts are in their capsule and the rocket is giving out this exhaust gases downwards, the rocket is going to climb up at a very fast speed. So astronaut will feel like the whole rocket will shake at that time, and the astronaut will feel tremendous force on their chest and the body, face, everywhere. So this is called G forces. So it's 1G means like I'm feeling right now, okay, I have 70 kg weight. 2 Gs would means like, oh wow, I have 140 kgs weight. 3 Gs means like 210. So it's like if I have 2 more people sit on me, how will I feel? I will not be able to move or get up. That's the kind of force one experiences. So that is why we have taken right now only best like Indian Air Force pilots. So right now the sad thing is in the 4 people, none of them is a woman. They are all men. But in future, okay, first time when we go, we'll have only 1 person crew, because that's most likely we'll just send 1, not 3 in the first flight. That's how many countries, when they send the first spacecraft, do. And New Shepard, Shalini, is a rocket by Blue Origin. New Shepard is a rocket which launched up. If you can pay, you can launch yourself to space and come back in that rocket. It's by the founder of Amazon Shopping. Okay, what is Mercury astronaut? Mercury astronaut, okay, thank you for asking. That's a great question. Mercury was the first mission to space, first human mission to space by NASA. So here you can see 2 astronauts getting trained in a aeroplane. This is a cockpit of this is a cabin of an aeroplane. So they are floating in space. This is called a 0G training, zero gravity training, where you feel like 1G is right now I'm experiencing, you all are experiencing. 2G is heavier. 0G means no weight. Or someone asked me in the beginning, what is microgravity? You create microgravity on Earth by taking such aeroplanes, and for 30 seconds from here, aeroplane starts to climb up. You feel very heavy. Here the aeroplane cuts down its engines and aeroplane just moves up. If I take a ball and throw it away, so when I'm pushing the ball is feeling the force. But after that, I release the ball. So ball will go in a free fall. It will go up first and down. Similarly, this is a parabolic path. Parabola, you know, is a maths curve kind of figure. Here, it's like we have thrown everyone up along with the plane. So everyone is just freely floating. No force is there. It's like I take 2 balls up and throw it together at the same speed. So both the balls, imagine they are human beings and can look each other. They are not touching the ground. They're not experiencing any other force. Both are moving at the same speed. They will feel like, oh, wow, I'm floating. That's what it means. And that's what is, you understood, is a G force, which we feel on Earth, but not when someone is going in an aeroplane. So if you were to ask me, do you need to go weightlessness by taking someone far away from the Earth's gravity? No. You can do it in small intervals by taking someone in such flights and or sending them to orbit of the Earth. I hope that clarifies. And so this mission profile is clear, but this is in past, we have cooperated with Russia and we have had great things. Aryabhat was the first satellite launched, and many of the technical accomplishments of India, we owe it to thanks to Russia. However, like at this point of time, there is a war going on. So the status of the cooperation and all, I don't know. And this is the sad part. We were talking, the war should end, first of all. There should be no loss of life. And coming to the most exciting part, so that's it for the Gaganyaan. Where is it going to lead us? This is a Mir space station by Russia, long back. So this is not Indian space station, but India plans to launch a space station very soon by, I think I read somewhere, by 2030. This is not the exact one by India. And the first step is to launch Gaganyaan. Eventually, we will do a docking experiment, means to connect 2 different parts, 2 different modules in space together, so that we can make, like, it's a house in space. Like, what is the difference between a room? Room is one room, but when you have many rooms serving different purpose, like a kitchen, washroom, it becomes a house. So each room has to be carried separately to space and joined. That part is called docking. So so this is the front of a spacecraft. This is the front. When they connect, it's called docking. So we have to learn how to dock. Then we have to learn how to conduct extravehicular activity or a spacewalk. Means astronaut coming out of their spacecraft And here we have in future, this is a rendering of a drawing of, this was drawing we have taken from one of the ISRO, like the ISRO's Gaganyaan mission project head, Dr. Hutton. I showed you, he had shown us, shown this rendering or drawing of Indian space. So hopefully, when we look at space, when Gaganyaan will be in orbit, or Indian space station in future, maybe by 2030 will be in orbit, we would be able to see it in our sky. And maybe someone of you will be there. So I would like to thank here ISRO and Gaganyaan team, Unni Krishnan Nair, from much of the work we have taken is, he explained us to, in a book, he has written an article, and several articles were consulted for this article. So thank you so much. Now something, space is running many astronomy. So astronomy is the mother of all sciences, and we have many programs for all of you to become astronomers, those who like astronomy. Okay, and we have a program called iAstronomer, and we meet. So in my life, through space, I have met many astronauts, and whenever, like, those astronauts I've been able to meet, once I've had an opportunity to, by the way, meet the person who went to the moon and back, Gene Cernan. And with space, I met Sunita Williams. So imagine, and it feels great when you meet these people. So what do we do in iAstronomer? iAstronomer is a club of like-minded people. We make instruments. Sometimes we meet experts, and on occasions we are also meeting astronauts. So so it's a very cool program. We will learn about telescopes. We will learn every month. There is a different theme. We come, we discuss, we participate, we learn about the night sky. So it's a very cool program. The membership fee is about 999. The website you can go to is learn.space-india.com, and I'm typing right here in the chat, learn.space-india.com. So there you will find out more about our programs. We also, as part of a kit, if you buy a kit separately, we also give a telescope. And one more exciting announcement is we are going on a trip, and we are going to have this trip on 26th or 27th of March, as well as 2nd to 3rd of April. It's called the Messier Marathon. So astronomy is, I think, beginning of space sciences, because we look at the stars and we feel curious, and space has been running and spreading the word about astronomy to everyone, and here is your opportunity to join. So some of you may be part of iAstronomer. So we will be doing a Messier hunt on this. You can be anywhere. We have got 2 locations. One is in Rajasthan, Sariska. One is in Tamil Nadu. So you can look, if you like, where you can come, which is the closest. You will have to come on your own. People from all over India are coming, different parts. Some people are coming from close, and it is open to anyone. So 2 locations on the same date. We will take telescopes and observe the night sky and recreate the night, like a very important experience of an astronomer's life called Messier Marathon, where we will observe using telescope 100+ objects in the sky, and it's a marathon. So, and we will have rocket launching and safe solar observation in the morning. So thank you all of you, and I promised you something. By the way, this is Indian spaceport from where the rocket will launch is called Sriharikota, and it is the world's 2nd best place to launch a rocket, because rockets to launch space require a lot of energy, and energy-wise, this spear-shaped island is ISRO's. When long back ISRO had found this, and ISRO has such a legacy of doing great things. This is a perfect launch pad for launch area. This is right here, Sriharikota in India. And much of the foundation is already in place. ISRO has several satellites we have already launched. So you can see India is at the right place now. India has a rich history of space exploration, launch pads, great rockets with heavy lift capability, which are making now the space flight possible, vision of the founders. And this is where we will launch the rocket from. You can see the rocket will go eastwards. This is one launch pad. This is the second launch pad. Maybe launch pad might go some upgradation, or an entirely new launch pad may be built for human rated launch. So this is where the rockets are constructed, and nearby they are taken to launch. So on the east. Now I promised some fun with rocket science. So I would just be finishing. So the entire rocket, this is a calculation I've already done. It's a calculator. How much force do the first set of rocket motors generate? The force, like a pull or push, they generate total 10,300 kilonewtons. 1 Newton means, suppose I'm having 1 kg weight in my hand. Okay, I have 1 kg weight in my hand. So this takes 1 kg of force to just stay here. I'm constantly applying. This is 1 kg. So the force I'm applying to keep it here is called 1 Newton. If I apply more force, then it will go up. If I apply less force, then this weight is more and my hand will go down. So I'm keeping it in a constant balance. So let's learn a little bit of rocket science. The first stage of the rocket. So this is like, those who know science, physics will find it easier, but rest of you can see. There is a formula for things, lots of things. There are formulas for rockets. One of the formulas for rockets is force is equal to mass into acceleration. Let's see. Force generated by those rockets, the two beginning rockets, is 10,300 kilonewtons. Okay, means thousands of newtons. So the mass of the complete rocket at that time is 6,40,000 kilograms. So when I did this calculation by, let's say I remove this and I type 10,300. So I get 16 meters per second square. That means nearly twice the gravity. 1 G force is 9.8 meters per second square. There's a little bit of maths for those who appreciate maths and those who want to, for those who even don't, but this is a fantastic way to get into shoes of engineers. Like, engineers are the great people who make rockets, who build rockets, and thanks to ISRO, we have this wonderful rocket. So you can see when I do my calculation, this calculator already calculates, it's nearly double the 1G. 1G force is 9.8. So that rocket, initially when the rocket motors start burning, it would experience 2G force up. That's what this is saying. So it is enough to lift the rocket. So any force which is more than 1G, more than 9.8. So if I had, suppose 6,000 or 6,500 or 6,300, then the rocket would not move up. If I had only one rocket motor, then it would not move up, because one rocket motor engine would generate some 5,800. So it's less than the weight of the gravity. So when we put 2 rocket motors, you can clearly see then we have enough force, 10,300. I hope this was easy. So the Gaganyaan, meaning in with beginning we talked about. So all of you, now I am asking you to please share a message which we would send to ISRO public. We would like to send a message from all of you to ISRO. So I hope you all enjoyed. What is a message which you would like to give to Indian Space Research Organization? Please type your message. So thank you, all of you. Please type in the chat. We would collect. Yes, Arjit, I would explain you once again, but right now I'm requesting everyone to please type what is a message you would send to Indian astronauts, future astronauts, Indian Space Research, about wishes, congratulations, whatever you want to do about Gaganyaan. We would like to send it across to them as a message from all of you students. All right. So Shalini, the website is learn.space-india.com. And to join the program by us, we have given you this phone number. You can note it down and get in touch with my team. Our team is very hardworking. I like constantly explaining to people about this program you want to join and helping people to join this program. The website for joining our astronomy club called iAstronomer. The program name is iAstronomer. So everyone, the message from this session today is that please dream big. There is no dream which you cannot achieve, as astronauts of various countries, so inspiring people have already shown, as Kalpana Chawla has opened. So have a dare to dream is the message. And Ratna Kamath, wonderful that you want to be an astronaut. Fantastic. And the second thing we want to say is, that when you grow up, some of you must be students. I don't know what age groups you are. I didn't ask. So when you grow up, maybe not just astronaut, you can become so many things. You can become an engineer who can do these cool things. You can be, you can go into space medicine. If you want to be a doctor, why don't you become a space doctor? Because this is a new field now. ISRO will be starting, and you can be a space lawyer if you want to get. So you don't just need to be an astronaut or scientist. You can be a lawyer, a doctor, and all different fields are required now. Maybe a finance guy, who knows? You can help ISRO a lot. So so maybe one of you will be going to space. So wish you all the best, and thank you very much, and have a great evening. Please type your messages. I am seeing wonderful messages. My message is that ISRO should produce more technology and make astronauts more safer. Website name for calculator, omnicalculator.com. Okay, I would request Yogesh, my teammate, to put it in chat because I can't really copy and chat paste here. Let me send this to Yogesh. So let me send it to my colleague who will just send it across to you. Thank you. So it's just to do some rocket science, people. Like there is a game called Kerbal Space Program. Those who want to become rocket scientists can play that game. Those who want to go to Space Expo in Bangalore and learn more. So please be associated with space. And thank you for joining today. And we wish you all the best. And thank you for the wonderful messages. If there is any other question, we can answer that right now, and then we will disconnect. Okay, I have Arijit saying, thank you so much for help, ISRO. We have seen so many rockets and things, but we would love to see more. We wish good luck for your future endeavors of Gaganyaan. Okay, thank you. You can see now. So I would like to thank my team members behind the scenes once again, and thank you to Space for giving me this opportunity to be with you. It's been fantastic. Parneet, okay. Abdul Rahman is saying, dear ISRO, I really appreciate you and your committee. I know that you will make India proud. So Space India also wishes all the best to ISRO from our side. We are sending our good wishes to ISRO. So thank you to all of you, everyone. Let's disconnect and see you soon. Hope to see you soon. All right. So is there any other? Super Praneet Singh, I want to be an astronomer. So the best way to become an astronomer is to learn by joining Space Club. Because what do astronomers do? They learn about night sky. And in iAstronomer, we learn about night sky, we observe. So the best way is to join our club member, go to Chennai, join the Messiah Marathon program on 27th, join the, whether you can come to Chennai or Rajasthan, you can talk to my teammate. So that's the best way to become your journey in astronomy. And Kalpana Chawla's husband met us and he explained us something. He said, like, to become an astronaut, you have to be seriously interested in science. So you have to be the best student in your school. That's the best thing you can do. While those of you who are in school right now, Arijit Roy, thank you. That's a beautiful message. We will all make India proud. Yes. So please reach for the stars. All of you have big dreams. With that final message for today, we end the Gaganyaan presentation and webinar. Thank you for making it a great success. Bye-bye.